Hi everyone, this is your health coach Sunny. Today I'm going to share with you my biggest fasting mistake so you can avoid it and do it right. Many of you may have done intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting. I bet some of you have great results with a leaner body and a sharper mind, while others may not be so lucky. Are you one of the unlucky ones like me? Shortly after my prolonged fasting for 3 days, my butt is suddenly gone. That's the worst problem for me. As an Asian woman, I was not so fortunate to be born with a natural round butt. I worked so hard for many years by doing tons of squats, but it just magically disappeared in one day. I could not wear jeans anymore because it is so hollow at the butt. Later, the unwanted fat started to creep at my abdomen, the worst area to store fat for a woman. Then I started to notice severe hair thinning. I also suddenly noticed the gray hair for the first time in my life, right here, this spot. Now I have to dye it every so often. I also had a mental foggy and a memory loss, and there is more. I noticed the dry skin and the saggy jaw on my face. I also started to have insomnia and extreme fatigue, which took me 2 years to recover. Yes, you heard that right. 2 years of suffering. My fatigue was so severe that I fell asleep at the desk several times a day. I also no longer had a period and no sexual desire, no motivation for anything in life. What a disaster at age 42. I went into deep depression due to the frustration that my body could no longer function the way I wanted it to. I wish I knew more about fasting before I jumped into it. For those who are interested in fasting but not sure if you should do it or not, please watch this video and learn from my mistake to avoid all the side effects. My biggest mistake was wrong timing. This 3-day water fasting was done in 2020 shortly after my recovery from COVID infection. I had all common symptoms of COVID but did not have pneumonia. I thought I was fully recovered. I was even hiking with my friend a few weeks after that. Worth of mentioning is that several months prior to that, I had gone through extreme psychological stress due to family dynamics. During this 3-day fasting, I remember clearly I was shaking frequently during the second and third day, and I was so fatigued that my office staff noticed it too. I had a low voice like a mosquito that people could barely hear me. I was so weak by the end of the third day that I had to end what was intended to be a 5-day fasting. When you are under prolonged stress, your adrenal gland is fatigued to secrete any more cortisol to keep up with the fight. Fasting is a stressor to your body. In my situation, I was already in a state of adrenal fatigue from previous prolonged stress, and my body would not have the capacity to take on more stress, such as this water fasting. The fasting just made the adrenal fatigue situation even worse to nearly exhaustion. I could have died from the fasting if I insisted to continue. According to Dr. James Wilson, the adrenal gland secretes about 40% of estrogen and progesterone for women, and 40% of testosterone for men, besides cortisol and other close to 40 different hormones. This explains why I started to have hair loss, saggy skin, muscle loss, fatigue, early menopause, and other symptoms. So basically, my body was in a state of near exhaustion and trying to help me survive. Therefore, no more menstrual bleeding or reproductive function. The body tries to store every ounce of nutrients I ate after the fasting period just to make sure I can survive. So I put on more fat at the central area because of the adrenal fatigue and the lack of hormones. Now that we know my timing for prolonged fasting was wrong, so how can you find out whether or not you are ready for fasting? This is not an easy question to answer. You have to ask yourself, what is your health status? Are you young and healthy at your 20s and 30s? Or are you over 40 with health conditions? Generally speaking, I would say if you are having symptoms of adrenal fatigue, including but not limited to what I mentioned above, like losing hair, saggy skin, fatigue, insomnia, mental foggy, memory loss, difficulty concentration, lack of sexual drive or motivation, or lack of period in women, then you are not at the right time to do prolonged fasting. Even intermittent fasting will cause detrimental effects in people with adrenal fatigue. This is the main reason why some people cannot lose belly fat after several months of intermittent fasting. Instead of fasting, people with adrenal fatigue must eat a balanced diet with protein, fat, and carbs in each meal on the schedule to nourish the adrenal gland. Fasting has many benefits such as autophagy and generating stem cells to repair the body, but my experience tells me that the cost of fasting is way too big if your body is not ready for it. Even when your body is ready for it, do the benefits truly outweigh the costs? Is it still worthy of doing it? You can see from many speakers who talk highly about the benefits from fasting, but has a whole set of gray hair, has saggy skin and a saggy jaw that looks way older than their age. So you probably know the answer by now. Okay, my friend, I hope you find this video helpful and truly experiment your life in a healthy, safe manner. Take care.